meditation community. So I come to you with this meditation that really hit a lightning cord for me. I was on a call with my yoga therapy group out of Beaumont Hospital, and my teacher reminded us, and I feel like it's very relevant to everything that we're going through, that yoga, by its very definition, defies that we accept suffering as our norm. It gives us a modality to sequentially decrease suffering and somewhat of a doorway out. So by choice, by practice, by sequentially following these practices of mindfulness, we do not have to accept suffering as our mode of functioning. So I think that that's very powerful. And if we back it up in the yoga philosophy, I want to share with you a few different schools of thought. But in the yoga philosophy, Sutra 1.2 in Sanskrit says, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So what the translation of that means is yoga is the means to calm the fluctuations of the mind. I'll say that one more time. Yoga is the means to calm the fluctuations of the mind. And for those of us who have been meditating or have experienced meditation, I think that we might also define that as peace. The cessation of the fluctuations of that monkey mind, that chatter. So if we can think of that as peace, the fluctuations themselves are really the opposite of peace. So that's what we're identifying from a yoga perspective. And of course, I always kind of translate these philosophies to my own Christian background. And if peace is the opposite of those waves, those opposite of those fluctuations, or maybe the space between them, the space between the thoughts, which science would back up. I think of the Bible verse, and I wrote it down, John 14:27. Peace I leave you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. So it's nothing external. It's nothing that you can find online. It's nothing that you can buy an app for. It's nothing that will come in the mail. It's an internal peace if you go through that line of thought. And I think we're talking about the same thing. So peace as seizing the fluctuations of the mind, peace, an internal peace that you have, that has been given to you, that the world really can't provide, that we have to access. So given those two ways to think about this, I am going to do what we usually do. We're going to offer a sequential offering, a way to use our five senses, a way to use our breath, which in Sanskrit is prana, which means life, and in Latin is spiritus, or spirit. So again, some similarities to get in touch with that part of us, that peace that is already within us, that is unchanging, that isn't affected by the fluctuations of the mind, the ebbs and the flows and the random repetitive thoughts. So, and as always, of course, we could, make this very, very secular and very, very sanitized and very scientific about how the mind works and the ways that we calm the mind through just even the inhale and the exhale being affected by the vagus nerve and on and on and on. So the lessening of the cortisol within our body just by taking deep breaths. So my invitation to you beautiful people is what my teacher invited me to think about. Yoga, and your definition can be very broad there, defies. It does not accept that suffering is the norm, that suffering is something that we have to endure. We can choose not to. So I think that that is intrinsically very, very powerful. And I invite you, beautiful community, whether you're listening to this at noon or 3 in the afternoon or 3 in the morning, we are all connected wherever we are, and whenever we come to this meditation, we are connected. To lower the eyelids down as a first start, find a comfortable seat, of course, or lay down, but lower the eyelids down to where is comfortable for you. So maybe it's just a gazing point out in front. I'm comfortable closing the eyes, so I will, but there is no right answer. There's no right way to do this. So honoring your internal landscape and your internal climate. And once you're ready, just begin to identify that you are breathing. And depending on the levels of the chatter of the mind, depending on how many exposures we've had to news feeds and newsreels, sometimes, and this I did with my own family the other day, is bring your pointer finger, I know it sounds silly, but bring it to your upper lip and identify that you're breathing. Identify your pattern of breath. It's just a doorway in. And you'll notice that on your inhales, it's cooler, it feels cooler at the top of your lip. And on your exhales, it feels warmer. So allowing yourself this same awareness, maybe you keep your finger right where it is, maybe you bring your hands gently down to your lap and continue to observe the rise and the fall of the breath. Any sensations either at the top of the lip, maybe at the nostrils as you breathe air in and as you give it back. Maybe it is sensation in the chest, the throat, the area above the throat. Again, there is no right answer here, but just identifying that we have this doorway in, this ability to breathe, to take in prana, to identify breath as life. And then allow yourself to take your 5 senses and turn them inward. So your sense of sight still active either through your lower lids or your closed eyelids. Noticing any colors, any textures behind closed lids. Taking a swallow, noticing the taste of your mouth. And gently drawing your awareness to your sense of hearing, identifying the sounds externally as well as internally. So as you begin to still your body Can you identify the subtle beat of your heart? Noticing any smell, any quality of the air. And then noticing on purpose where your body is seated or lying down, where your body is meeting the earth. And allowing yourself to identify the outline of your body, the outline of your physical form. So we are going to drop into this physical body, this vehicle that we all have given to us, not by our choosing, given to us to experience this life. And when you're ready, begin to empty the lungs. And on your next inhale, fill up 3 parts. So belly, chest, the space above the heart into the throat. And as you exhale, exhale chest in down into the belly. Inhale, belly first, chest fills up, maybe fill up the space above the heart, and exhale from the heart all the way back down to the belly, emptying out completely. A few more like that, just inhaling belly, chest, space above the heart. Exhaling from the top all the way down, emptying out every last little teeny tiny drop, but not really fighting with it, just giving yourself time to do so. And inhaling belly, chest, throat, riding the wave of the breath all the way up to the top, and then taking the breath back down. Few more abdominal breaths, 3-part breaths. So in these exercises, we're giving our thinking mind something to do, inhaling belly, chest, throat, exhaling, throat, chest, belly, and repeat. So we're going to give the thinking mind a direction, and then the thoughts are going to pop up because that's what they do, and that's okay. We're just going to acknowledge them and go right back to the task at hand, this 3-part breath. So reinvest, dig back in, rejecting that we have to suffer the fluctuations, rejecting that we do not experience peace. So peace is something that's always there. We know that. That's why we're probably meditating here together. We've felt it. It's real. And we're reclaiming that. We're reclaiming that as our reality. The reality of peace. The rejection of suffering, knowing that we have another way. We don't have to buy in. So giving yourself a few moments here to just ride the waves of your inhales and exhales. That is it, that is all. And if you find yourself being dragged out, being hooked by something that captures your attention. Celebrate that you've realized that you've caught yourself, that you've interrupted the pattern, and come right back. And with closed eyes or a soft gaze, continue your beautiful witnessing of your breath, staying with that, or for this last part of our time together, maybe choosing to add in a mantra, breathing in. For me lately it's been peace. Peace as an affirmation, as a vow, as a recommitment every day, reminding ourselves that we don't have to buy in. We don't have to suffer. That's not what we are here to do. That every tradition offers a way out, and the way out is within. It's nothing that the world can give. So if peace works for you, absolutely. If it's something else that resonates with you, add that in. There is no right answer. But allowing yourself these next few moments to follow the rise and the fall of your breath as you inhale. Inhale fully the thought, the feeling, the texture of your affirmation. And as you exhale, exhale the same. Just an invitation. Experiencing what you experience, no right or wrong. Giving yourself the gift, the luxury of another full minute, strengthening these neural pathways, building confidence in our practice. just as we sequentially brought ourselves in, we will sequentially bring ourselves out. So in your own space and time, allowing yourself to hear the sound of my voice, the sounds of your environment, allowing yourself to feel the presence of your physical body, where it hits the earth and where it doesn't. Noticing in your experience any smell, any taste. And if and when you're ready, allowing your sense of sight to slowly return. And an invitation as you lift your lids slowly to gaze upon at least one object for a full round of breath, really noticing it, the detail of it, giving yourself permission to pause and actually see instead of rushing by. And as we come back, noticing if you feel any different. I know I do. So, yoga by its very definition, I think God gives us permission to not accept suffering, to gives us permission and a modality to find another way, to realize another way. So Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodhai, Sutra 1.2. Yoga seizes the fluctuations of our mind. So I always find that interesting, especially in the West. It does not mention a $200 Lululemon outfit or putting your foot behind your head, right? So we get so caught up in our definition of yoga, but it's really a recipe for peace. And in my own background, I think of that famous scripture for peace. Peace I leave you, my peace I give you. I do not give it to you as the world gives. So it's not external. It's all an inside job. And this is a practice. It's an inside job and an inside practice. And thank you for being on this path with me and walking with me and with each other as we grow these skills, as we are able to disconnect from all the chaos that is around us to that internal peace that is really our birthright. So if you're interested, please email me. I'd love to get a Zoom call together so we can practice together in real time. I think everybody has my email. And with that, I hope you stay safe and well. Namaste.